If you're a nonfiction author, especially as a coach, consultant, speaker, or thought leader, and you're working on a book, there's really a moment that you will reach as your book is being written or you're getting really close to have it being published. And that moment is when you start to wonder how much of the selling is on me and how much of this is really handled by the publishing path that I choose. Well, it is a fair question, and depending on if you're self-publishing, yes, it's going to be more on you, but you may wonder if you're traditionally or hybrid publishing, how much really is on you and to what degree. And that really does look different depending on whether you're going down the self-publishing, hybrid publishing, or traditional publishing path. What I want to explore in this episode is this mindset that I believe that you absolutely need to have as an author, and it shows up consistently across all of those paths. No matter how you publish, nobody will be more invested in selling your book than you are. And you will be the person who ends up selling the most books out of anyone. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. A lot of the authors that I meet with, and especially first-time authors, carry the expectation that publishing and selling are tightly linked. And I can understand why. You may have grown up seeing books or authors going out there and selling lots of books, and especially if it was having Amazon and having the barrier to entry be so much lower for getting books out there. And that belief may cause you to think that once the book is out in the world, there's a system in place that takes it from there. And while publishing does provide that infrastructure, the distribution of the book, and in some cases, some marketing support, those systems are really designed to respond to the momentum, not create it from scratch. That's not necessarily a flaw in publishing, but it's simply how the industry is currently structured and how it's evolved over the past 2 decades, especially now that there's more competition, more books out there that are being published every single day. Publishers, no matter the model that they have, are managing many books at once. Their role is to support what's already working, not replace the author's voice, audience, or presence. So let's explore a bit on how this shows up no matter your publishing path. If you're self-publishing, you're clearly responsible for visibility and sales. But that doesn't mean you're on your own. It just means your ownership is very clear on what you need to do and that you're leading out on this. If you're hybrid publishing, there's often a team involved. You'll have a team that helps get your book done. And when it comes to launching, you're marketing your book. If you've purchased those services, you'll have strategy, launch planning, and distribution. But you as the author are still the driver of the momentum. And even in traditional publishing, where I see this the most with authors, is that they may have the structure there, but the books that receive the most sustained attention tend to be the ones where the author is actively engaged before, during, and especially after the book launches. And that's not because the traditional publishing is doing it wrong, but because authors bring something no system can replace. They bring context, credibility, and connection specifically with their audience. So all of this can kind of boil down to that's why there's this way of thinking, if you're in the publishing industry, that's worth understanding. Not necessarily as a rule, but really as a pattern. That early traction usually comes from the author, and that later traction comes from the book. But the book rarely gets there on its own, meaning if you hit publish, it's not going to go anywhere if it just sits there. So this is the part where I want you to really think about what is your current mindset and how can you reframe it? Because it's easy to hear this and feel pressure that I need to do everything. I have to build the momentum. And that's partially true, but you don't have to do it on your own. Because this mindset isn't about doing more, it's about owning the role you already play. Now, when authors accept that they are the most invested advocate for their book, a few things will change for you. They stop waiting for someone else to pick it up. They stop separating the book from the rest of their work, and they start thinking about how the book fits into conversations they're already having. The book becomes less of a product you promote and more of a tool you use, and the content inside of it is what you're promoting. This shift can really change how book marketing will help you to feel. So, what does this actually look like? Not tactics, not launch hacks, just a few grounded ideas that I want to give you. First, if your book isn't part of how you talk about your work, it's easy for it to fade into the background. Second, books sell when they're clearly connected to a real audience's need, not just when they're available. And third, momentum tends to come from consistency, not from one big moment, or in today's world, one big viral moment. None of this requires becoming a marketer. It just requires intention. Because book marketing isn't about volume, it's about visibility with purpose. Because book marketing isn't just about volume, it's about visibility with purpose coupled with the reach that you can build. So let's circle around and come back to the idea that we started with. Your publisher won't sell your book for you, and nobody will ever be more invested in selling your book than you are. That's true across all publishing paths. Not because one way is right or wrong, but because authorship itself carries that responsibility. And the good news is that ownership creates options. That creates options for you, for your book, how you want to build your team, to build that momentum as a team, and how you want to connect and truly connect with your audience so that they will see the value that you're offering and want to engage with your book and engage with you outside of the book. So thank you for listening today. In the next episode, we'll be talking about what slows down the publishing process. No matter where you are in your author journey, whether you're in the book publishing phase, the book development phase, building your author brand and platform, launch and marketing phase, or you're in the beyond the book phase with all the services that you connect to with outside of it. There are many things that can slow down the publishing timeline, and I want to review the top ones that you can watch out for so that you can get your book out in the intended time frame. Until then, keep writing, keep spreading your ideas, and building the impact that you want to have.